Hello, we in?
I hope we're in, man.
All right, we live on the living color. That was a close call. That was a close call.
I hope we in there. We in?
Murphy's Law states if things can go wrong, they will. I don't know what was happening with my computer this evening, but somehow I just wasn't making the connection. I think, you see, I'm gonna explain what happened when we come back. So, good evening, Mark. So glad you can join us. Everything good?
Everything's good.
Everything is good. Everything is good. Miss Forrester, how are you doing today?
I'm well.
You are well. You are well. Mr. Archer, talk to me, brother.
Yes. I don't know. Something was in the system.
I don't know. But, I hear you. I hear everyone loud and clear. Can everyone hear me? Everybody can see me.
So let's ask our audience. Somebody saying good evening. It looks like we're kind of on stream.
Hi, Lucy.
O'Brien.
All right. We're looking good here. All right, good. Good night. Let's look over here. We're looking good on what's this here? Oh, this Muzilog. All right, great. All right, well,
I'm not seeing Mark's face too bright. I'm accustomed seeing his bright yellow face in the screen. I'm not seeing it. Yeah, I'm not seeing his face bright this evening.
God will help you.
Our green eye light skin boy.
There's nothing light skin about me. Let's go out on the corner and call the police and see what happens.
Yeah, they come for me.
They will
come and ask you, sir, are you okay? What did he do? And you may be the perpetrator. So don't even Karin, based on the subject matter, I want you to talk a little bit about that this evening for me, please. That preferential treatment that people of we're gonna talk about that later. So Sam, Dr. Judith in the background somewhere, she in the back room?
Not yet. I know she's having any issues.
I don't know.
I was looking in the news to see if we had any little situation, but the net looks like it's a little bit slow on my side, so I don't know what going on. So I know kind of wondering.
So it's not another situation where like Facebook shut down and the whole world don't know what to do with themselves.
I knew what to do with myself. I don't know about anybody else.
Well, we're looking good on our regular platform. I know we went live a few times today, but that was our former selves. This is our present selves.
Present selves.
Yeah.
So Sam, where were you? Where were you when Facebook went offline?
No,
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
I was in the studio working on something. I just noticed Facebook was just loading. I said, okay, something wrong. So what I decided to do, I went to the news. Normally, if something is funky, I just go to the news, right? I'll go to Google News, and then that's Facebook News or whatever. And then I went over to Twitter. And everybody in Twitter, Facebook shut down, So that was one way I found out. Went to the news, and then they're like, so Facebook, IG, and WhatsApp shut down. I said, oh, okay. So I said, people going crazy. And that thing happened for so long, so it was serious.
And the irony of the whole thing, I didn't even know until it came back up.
Wow.
It had no impact on my life.
I'm constantly on social media, updating stuff, checking on stuff. But somehow that particular day, I was preoccupied with something else. And not until everything came back online before I realized that something went wrong.
You were living your life. That's what you were doing.
I was living life. Yeah, living life. Some of the more important things I had to do in life. Did it affect you in any way, Mr. Chase?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
You couldn't care less.
Truly.
He didn't care less.
Truly.
Is it couldn't care less or could care less?
I could not care less.
One of the above. So it does show that we have a couple of people looking here.
Okay.
That's 5. Could we hear from the fan base that's looking on? Just say good night or something, so we know that we're in the mix.
Yeah, I want to make sure everything in the mix because it took me a while to sign on this evening. I'm not sure what was happening. Yeah. Lucy, talk to us again one more time. Just hit us with a WhatsApp. Yeah, we have Let's just see what's going on.
Just let us know. Because I have one of my pages, looks like it's just loading. So I'm just trying to make sure that everything, that you guys are hearing us properly. It says we have 4 people looking at us here.
And that we are in fact streaming, we are in fact live. Okay, so what you do, Sam, let's hit the thing. Run the thing. Let me get the thing going.
Let me run it. All right.
My name is Karin Forrester. I represent BantuKreations. BantuKreations offers beautifully made, African-inspired, lightweight, handcrafted, one-of-a-kind earrings in wonderful shapes, shades, sizes, and colors. Please don't be scared of the large sizes. They're extremely lightweight earrings. BantuKreations can be found on IG and on Facebook as BantuKreations. That's BantuKreations with a K.
Come check me out, chriskeys.com. I'm worldwide.
Tony Altamirano.
Hi, I'm Gina.
What's up, everybody? I'm Win Vu, award-winning remixer.
I'm an artist.
Hi, my name's Justina Bethel.
Hi, I'm Mike Bowen from Denton, Texas.
How you doing? This is Tom Cuff from Music by Tom Cuff. Check out Samuel E. Archer's book, Hybrid Executive. We are in the business, and here's how you can be a better business person because you're running your business.
You can find my music at JustinaBeth_EL on Instagram or JustinaBethel.com, and I am a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive, just like you.
Follow me at Koya Music, and I'm also a hybrid executive.
I'm worldwide, baby, but just know I'm a hybrid executive. That's all you need to know, baby.
Get on up, B.
Check out my music, MikeBowen.com. I'm a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive.
Woo!
Yes.
All right.
Was that for me, Sam?
That was for all of us. Welcome back, and then Dr. Judith is here.
Yeah.
And
somehow I think that clap was for her. Good night, sweetheart. Good night.
We have she said everything is good sample, and then she said Sam. I think my name turned into sample. Thank you, Lucy.
No, that was all right. So everything rolling. All right. So
Carol said she can hear and see clearly. Is it because she put Visine in her eyes and what Going people said they could hear and see clearly.
The rain is gone.
Your rain is
yeah, the rain is gone.
All right.
So Sam, tonight we had a couple notable people from the Caribbean who passed away recently, and as customary, what we do, we pay tribute, at least by giving them honorary mention on the program.
Yes, sir. Which one you want to go with first?
Do you have Mr. Powell, sir?
Yeah, Mr. Powell is in living color right here.
As most of you all may know, we lost Brother Colin Powell, who is now an ancestor. He died on October 18th at the ripe age of 84. This Mr. Powell, a well-accomplished gentleman, most people may remember him from his serving as Secretary of State. But let me go back a bit and talk. First of all, us here in America, you know, our children, they are more Caribbean than us. Some of these children swear they are Trini, swear they are Jamaican, and they probably visited once when they were like 4 or 5. Mr. Powell was the son of Jamaican immigrants. So Jamaica claimed him as one of their own. I don't know how much he claimed Jamaica, but Jamaica claims him as one of their own. And he became the first black man, first brother to rise to one of the highest positions in politics, not in government, in US, how we say, diplomacy. He served first as National Security Advisor under President Reagan. A lot of people may not necessarily remember that. And he was also National Security Advisor, yes, under Reagan, and he was also chairman of Joint Chief of Staff under President Bush, and then later became Secretary of State under President Bush. These three accomplishments, he was also the first black person ever to occupy all three positions. So he was a trailblazer as Secretary of State, as National Security Advisor, and Chairman of the Joint Chief of Staffs. A well-accomplished life from one of our Caribbean sons. Travel safely, brother. On to the next round. This brother here, a lot of us may not necessarily know him, but this is Brother Yassin Abubakar. I don't know how many of you all remember back in 1990, we had a coup in Trinidad. And this is the Muslim brother, the Imam from the Jamaat al-Muslimin, who led that coup, overthrew the government, held the Prime Minister and several other members of Parliament hostage for quite a few days. And as we say only in Trinidad, this brother walked and beat the charges and eventually was compensated for atrocities committed against him during and before this particular incident. Brother Abu Bakr, from what I heard over the last couple of weeks, started stirring up the dust again in Trinidad, and now he's gone. There are some conspiracy theorists who are saying it had to do with the dust that he was creating again. I don't know. Whichever way it is, Brother Abu Bakr is no longer with us. Some may say good, some looked at him as evil, some looked at what he did as good. Either way, I am not choosing sides on the matter, but the brother is no longer with us, and we pay homage to him here on Caribbean Feedback. Tonight, brothers and sisters, we have a how could I call it? It's a rather interesting topic.
You all right over there?
Yeah. I'm really interested in hearing your take on this particular thing. The show tonight, it's entitled 10 Things That Matter Most to Black People Here in the US. Let me repeat that. 10 things that matter most to Black people here in the US. I did a little survey this evening and I talked to a couple people and asked the same question, and it was kind of mind-blowing, some of the answers that I got in terms of what matter most to that particular individual and what they thought mattered most to us as a people here in America. We also have people in the Caribbean listening to us. We have people in Canada listening to us. So I think the question spans across the globe. 10 things that matter, or things that matter most to us as Black people, not just here in the US. And it's kind of strange, some of the answers that we come up with. Should we stop at 10? Should we keep going? And what about traditions, values, principles, interests? Ideals. What ideals do we as a people collectively hold on to? In my little survey this evening, some people were quick to respond, and somebody said, God. We hold on to the belief in God. Here's my problem with that. Many of us hold on to the belief that while very few of us practice the principles, we walk the walk, and many of us don't talk the talk. But yet still, some people can say collectively, we hold on to God. Some of the things I see and hear from people are very ungodly. But yet still as a people, we hold on to God. On one block in my city here, there are approximately 12 churches on one block. And this is what I counted driving. So if I was to come out and actually walk door to door, I suspect I may get a few more. I would hate to be one that passed judgment on these churches, but on one block, I don't want to pass judgment on anybody, on any of these individuals, but from what I can see, most of them, they're doing nothing for the community. Nothing. Outside of a few Jehovah's Witnesses knocking my door occasionally, I have absolutely no idea what most of these churches doing for their community. I don't see it. Several years ago, I had a fire in my building. I got displaced for quite a few months, sleeping in a hotel. A woman walked up to me with a bottle and she said, "Could you help give to the church?" I said, "For what?" She said, "This money is to help people, families who have been displaced." I said, "I've been displaced," and I gave her my story. And after giving her the story, she said, "Well, do you have anything to donate?" And she still stuck the bottle in my face for me to give, which means she didn't hear a damn thing that came out of my mouth. If I'm telling you I'm one of the people that you collecting money for, you should be willing to dip your hand in the bucket and say, "Here, my brother, hold on to something." But even though I told this woman at the point of time I wasn't homeless, but I was displaced with my entire family because of a fire. And she still held out that collection plate and said, "Give me from what you have to help people like you." This is troubling for me, people. Troubling. So I have an issue with those who say we hold on to God as a people. Yeah, some of us do, but what good is it doing for some of us? And what good are we doing with what it is we're holding on to? I heard other people say, what we hold on to? Women hold on to the hair. That's important to them. Some of them hold on to their nails, getting that done. Brothers, oh man, I see you all line up outside when they have a sale for some new Jordans. These are some of the things that I see my people holding on to dearly as a people. A sale. Black Friday sale. Christmas sale. Where they can go out and buy new stuff. We are consumers. Party on a Friday night, on a weekend. People work all week so that they could party on the weekend. This is almost like a religion to some of us. These are some of the things people told me that they hold on to. But what about some of the things that we really need? I hear somebody else talk about equality. They talk about justice. We need to stand up as a people. I see over the last couple of years where we as a people got out and we protested the killing of George Floyd. And some people say, yeah, we need to be liberated. We hold on to that. And yet still the powers that be said, no, you are not doing it right. You need to follow Dr. King's example and protest peacefully. Hello? You all also killed him. So what are we supposed to do? What are we holding on to? We following the good example and we setting some bad examples. And in my opinion, I don't think any of it is working. What are we supposed to do? Karen, talk to me.
Topic was brought to the platform by Mr. Mark Chase. I view it as what's important to us here in the United States as a bit different. I've been here for several decades in this country. I have worked as a civilian, I've worked in the military. I would love to be able, as a Black person in this country, to go to any area across the United States without fear of being mistreated or possibly harmed just because I'm a Black person. That's very important to me. And I think it's important to a lot of Black people in this country. I would love for everyone to have access.
Hold on. Let's discuss that first when you bring up there. We don't want to get them jumbled up.
It's not jumbled.
Traveling across the country safely. I can't quote exactly what you said, but without being judged or misjudged based on this. Basically, that's the first thing you said, right?
Correct.
Let's discuss that for a minute. Does anyone here have those concerns as an individual?
Of course, man. You sense. You lost your sense this week?
No, I don't know where you stand. Let me hear because I have a take on that also. Let me hear where you stand with that concern.
The first and most important thing for people of color is personal safety. Okay? You've lived in New York, as I've heard you, and in South Florida. You find out, travel around the country, you find out that these folks got dual purpose linen. They use it for the bed and then they put it over their head at night to come out and harass you. My house has been shot up by the Klan. They've broken into my house and spray painted it. Personal safety. Where I stand, I can call the police. They're going to want to arrest me. I take care of it myself. So if you want to know where I stand, that's where it is. And I very much agree with Karen. It's my hard-headedness that allows me to move into places where I'm not necessarily wanted, or travel to places where I'm not necessarily wanted. Because you're going to have one hell of a fight on your hands. Simple as that. That's where I stand.
Sam, in your years moving across the country, have you ever ran into any racial issues?
When you say run across the country, you mean in my travels?
In your travels, yeah.
Okay, because I didn't really run across the country. But, you know, I've experienced a few things here and there, you know. For me, it was more covert, but, you know, certain things were left in a certain way and you just keep it moving, you know. I didn't experience something where something was obvious, you know. It was always kind of questionable. So that's been my my path. Has stuff happened behind the scenes? Maybe, I don't know. But I do know some job interviews. I think I may have spoken about this on the show before. You know, you call over the phone and they're like, all right, come in for an interview. And then you come in and they realize, oh, it's a Black person. Okay. So apparently on the phone, you sounded differently. You know, you come in and it's like, oh, first of all, you know, they're like, oh, I didn't know you were. And then they kind of stop somewhere in the sentence. You have a seat, fill out this paperwork. And, you know, you kind of feel the vibe right there. So, you know, little things like that, or maybe the elevator thing might happen. And that, I've run into that as well. But nothing where someone was outside with a mask and burning a cross. So I'm thankful for that. But some people have experienced that stuff.
Yes.
So.
Dr. Judith?
Well, I live in Georgia. I think it's a little bit more overt here, racism. My concern is mostly for my son, being he's a 25-year-old black male driving a car that has tinted windows and stuff like that. My concern is mostly for him. Racism is here. I think I experienced it recently where I contacted a local newspaper with a piece that I'd written about having the virus. And the lady and I had, Caucasian, the lady and I had a lovely conversation on the phone. Really, we talked about life and God and really loved the conversation. And she even told me that she had a writer. She had a writer for like how many years? The lady was 90-something, and the lady just passed away. And she basically told me that the lady's passing away and my calling is like, okay, I would be the replacement for the lady to become a writer for the newspaper. And something in what I wrote, some kind of way, she must have realized that I was black. I didn't sound black. And I've been told that many times, especially Southern black, I didn't sound that way. And all of a sudden, the lady disappeared. All of a sudden, I couldn't find her. She was supposed to publish the article and whatever. Didn't hear from her. Contacted her again. She said she's going to publish the article. There was something she was having problems with. It's an online publication, and something was going on online. But the bottom line, apparently, is that she realized that I'm black. Lost all interest. Never mentioned the position as a writer anymore. Nothing else was said. And today I'm particularly annoyed at white folks, so maybe it's not a good time to talk about this stuff, but it's here. It's all over. I'm not worried about myself because I am going to be who I am. I don't have any guns, and I don't have, certain attitudes about all this stuff. But I do know that I don't die easily. I don't give in, and I don't take crap for long. So, but it's here, and it's real. I just don't pay a lot of attention to it. I really don't. Except for my son, I really don't pay a lot of attention to it. So,
I've crisscrossed this country many times, up and down the East Coast. And I've never actually run into any of those situations that I could remember off the top of my head, other than with the ones in uniform and badges. But I've taken some of the back roads in some of these cities, some of these towns. One thing I always careful that I don't do is run out of gas on one of these back roads. I always make sure I have a well-gas vehicle so I can get out of Dodge if need be. But I heard a situation recently, I wasn't even familiar with this term, called sundown towns. There was a young man from West Virginia or Virginia, and he was hiking and ended up in West Virginia, and it was, let's say, about 5 o'clock the evening. And he walked into a shop to get some water, and the girl was like, a white girl said, "What are you doing here?" He said, "I came for some water." She said, "Yeah, but what are you doing here?" He said, "I came for some water. I was hiking and I came down through the woods and I saw the store and I came for some water." She said, "You need to get out of town. This is a sundown town." He was like, "What's that? Oh, the sun's going down?" She said, "No. You're
laughing.
Need to be out of town before it gets dark."
You are laughing. In the town that I lived in here in Florida, Palm Harbor, in 1987, they had a banner across the main street, crossing US 19, which is a major highway. "Nigga, don't let the sun set on you here."
What year was that?
This is 87.
Okay.
All right.
Right in your neck of the woods, you know a place called Gulfport?
Yeah.
Gulfport, Florida. Also, the place where we get that water from, Zephyr Hills, Florida.
Yeah.
Right. Those were listed as sundown towns in Florida.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
All in your neck of the woods over there.
Gulfport is actually part of St. Petersburg. But St. Petersburg is very heavily segregated. And if you went across South 22nd Street, you had a problem. You had a problem. It was that way when I moved here. You know, I found it interesting, you know, that you weren't aware of that. And I think there's probably amongst Caribbean people a sense of arrogance that is healthy. These things you're not going to tolerate. But they're there and they're live. And I think that when we talk about covert and overt, is because you almost can't believe that's being said to you. You know, and you make it pass. I've been in this country so long, there's nothing that passes by me.
I see your point, Karen. I see your point when you spoke of how exactly you worded it. Safe traveling. How exactly you worded it?
I'd like to feel safe traveling throughout this country. I don't. I know that there are certain precautions that I must take, and based on what you guys are saying, there's certain towns that you know don't let 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock catch you.
But the problem is sometimes you don't know.
That's your responsibility. If you grew up in this country, you know that there's certain parts of this country you are not tolerated as a person of color.
So let me ask you a question. Is there a website where you could go and see a list of where these places are, so you could check if you're in a place?
Across the country, I do believe if you check Wikipedia should have a list of
sundown
information. Yes, sundown towns, yeah, across the nation. But I just had to point out the one in Mark's side of town over there that really needs to pay attention to whether he knew it or not. But apparently the brother is well aware of what's happening in his hood.
Yeah.
I have to call it hood. It's not a neighborhood. They don't sound very neighborly over there.
They're not. And they're very honest about it. I think what Karen said, personal safety is going to be number one. I think number two is economic security.
Hiya. Go ahead, elaborate on that. Let me hear you.
You know, too many of us, because we've been denied generational wealth, the ability to pass on wealth to our children or our grandchildren, we end up working for someone, usually at a wage that is 60% of our white brethren and sisters. And we are constantly on edge in terms of finance. You know, you buy your house. Oh my God, if I lose my job, I'm going to lose my house. I'm going to lose, you know, there has to be economic parity and economic security within our community. And also educational parity and security.
Hold on, let's not go too fast. I want us all to touch on them one at a time. As they mentioned, you speak about economic security, but most of us tend to tie that economic security to a job. And as we all know, there is no such thing as job security. So most of us are one paycheck away from living on the street. And the way I say it, if you have one stream of income, that's too close to none.
May I say something here about security, job security? And I know we're talking about Black folks predominantly here. White folks have the same issues. I don't care how entitled they feel they are. I don't care what they say about being special, being white. They have the same issues. They have the same fears. I have a white coworker who just went away for the weekend. She came back. I called her to let her know there was a there was a survey she had to do for the job, and it was needed by the end of the day yesterday. She went into a panic attack. She's been on the job over 6 years. She's constantly worried about losing her job. Constantly. She went away. She took 1 day off. She took 1.5 days off, and she came back in a panic. She's worried that she's going to, and I work with a lot of white folks, and they all, no matter what they say to us or in the public eye, they are just as afraid, for different reasons perhaps, but they're just as afraid of losing their jobs. They're just as afraid. They just have the same problems going from paycheck to paycheck. They're having a tough time economically. We as Black people tend to think that white people have it together. Bull crap, they don't.
No, I don't mean to cut you off. No, I don't think that's so. I don't think they have it together.
No. I said we think they do.
I don't believe that. I think that most Black people look at them and say they got the same problems I got. I just have more of them.
Yeah,
you see, I've watched. There's security in feeling secure, Dr. Judith. There's a great deal of security in feeling superior. And I know I've been in this country long enough. I've graduated from boy to uncle. That's as far as I'm going to get. Okay? So I don't think most of us think that white folks don't have problems. We know they do. Okay? But never to the extent, in the words of Malcolm X, when the white community catches a cold, the Black community gets pneumonia.
Yeah, well, there are historical reasons for that, and I'm going to stick with what I said. There are historical reasons why we get sick when they catch a cold.
Okay.
Because we have not disconnected whatever went on in the past, whatever they told us we are, whatever they told our grandparents. We have not decided that we are not those things. That's why our focus is so screwed up. That's why we focus on jewelry and hair and crap, because we're consistently trying to be something they think we should be. That is our weakness. In my opinion, Black folks will always think that the poorest white person, Lyndon Johnson said it, the poorest white man thinks, the poorest and uneducated white man thinks he's better and more educated and richer than the most intelligent and rich Black man. And part of that exists and continues to exist because we have not changed our minds about ourselves. I'm sorry. I have a hellish white woman I'm dealing with right now. They can have their attitudes. They can do what they do. They can say what they say. But it's up to me to stand up and hold her accountable for her attitude towards me. And I'll say it until the day I die, we continue to worry about hitching crap in our ear and our brains are screwed. We continue to worry about the jewelry and the fancy car, and we live in a neighborhood where we park the car, we got to stand at the window and watch the car all night. Black folks got some serious stuff that we will not deal with. We will not.
I'm going to agree with you to an extent.
Go to Jamaica and talk about color prejudice. Any Caribbean island, no Black person wants to deal with it. But the bottom line is real. We're niggas. We call ourselves niggas when it's convenient. Where Black folks will call each other all sorts of names. And we talk all this crap about each other. And we're constantly downing each other. And we're constantly saying, oh, it's not a color problem in the islands. It is more of an economic, it's a class problem. Bull. We still have self-hatred. I don't care what white people do to me. If we don't get rid of that, it's not going to change.
All right, hold on. I'm a little bit slow. I'm sorry. So we were talking about feeling safe. So were we saying that safety is one of the important things for Black people in this country?
Well, we passed the safe traveling. We're talking about economic security right now.
So now we going into what we dealing with now. This is
economic security.
Economic security.
What? I'm sorry. What about safety in black neighborhoods from blacks?
Hold on. Let me finish the economic part.
Wait, hold on.
Let me don't mix it up. Let me hear Sam's take on this.
I just want to be sure that.
Let me tell you something. For years, I've known you as an entrepreneur. I've never known you punching a clock. What is it that drives you to keep pushing and keep along that vein to build your own, to build a legacy that you can leave for your children? Because I've said it time and time again, you cannot pass on a job. None of us can pass on a job to a child. We can pass on a business, and I've always known you to be building a business. What is it that drives that entrepreneurial spirit within you and not go out there and hold that job for economic security?
Do you want the Hollywood answer or you want the truth?
Keep it real, man.
Answer him, Karin.
Keep it real.
So the truth is, everything is not for everybody. I'll start with that first. The drive is for me being a creative. I never had full support on the creative side of things. So if I'm going to be a part of the creative community where I can create and pay my bills and sustain life that way, I have to go against the grain because I'm already against the grain as a creative. Right? If you notice, you have struggling actors, starving musicians. I don't know what the poets are. Are the poets hungry?
Terms, I think terms we need to stop using.
Right, I know, but my point is, the reason why these terms exist is because creatives can't really fit into the structure that's there. There's a structure, and you know what? I'm talking from a creative, but anyone who has a drive to create some form of a business where other than actually having to work in one, they want, it's better. Some people will say, okay, it's better to own one. So you may have some little thin lines in there, but the objective is, okay, is either I'm going to be a part of the system, do the 9 to 5, I wake up 6 in the morning or 5 in the morning, I jump on the rush train, go to Manhattan, do my job, come back home, buy some chicken fried rice on the way in, and then I eat, and then the cycle goes again, and then I pay the bills, and then I do that, and then it's over and over again. You have to decide, do you want to be a part of this? Or do you want to do something else? So you got to go against the grain.
I think
that is the driving. Go ahead, Karin.
No, I understand what you just said, and you're very careful in your answer.
I am. Okay.
I think the most part. Most people are sick to death of working for somebody else for 50, 60 years of their life for small choppings. I think you're correct. Everything is not for everyone. Not everyone can become an entrepreneur. But if you have the drive, the ambition, and a good product or service or idea, go for it. Invest your time in yourself so that your children don't have to put 50, 60 years working for somebody else.
Well, that's the point too. And also,
we're sick to death of doing this constant working for somebody else. As Curtis would say, working for somebody else's dream to come true. They're passing you in a Cadillac and you're barely walking by, with a little cane. Your poor little body's all broken after 50 years of working for them. No. Done with that.
And to add what you say, Karin, to when these folks created these businesses, who did they have in mind?
Hello.
Hello. Right, so that's where your nepotism would come in, because they didn't build this for you; they built it for their offspring.
We've always been seen as the labor rights, always. Never
Well,
as the business owners.
It's
And
interesting
anyone
what
who stepped out of that mold has been traumatized in so many ways on a community level, by the government. It's been seen historically repeatedly.
Dr. Judith hit on two very important points, and you've mentioned them individually, Sam and Karen. Number one, she mentioned, she was talking about the nails and the hair and the gold chains. That is created in the white media. I don't see anybody walking around with a whole bunch of chains dripping off their neck when I'm walking in the street.
Well, the era of that, Mark, the era of that has gone. We still talk about it, but the whole gold chain, that era has passed. That was the early days of hip hop. No,
So
they no longer do that.
What's the
That era has passed.
I see the caricature
Cars are the
where you can find. It's anecdotal, where I see the woman coming out with her cat nails and her hair did. She didn't get her hair done. She got her
done. She got her hair did.
Her hair was did.
Okay. She got her nails did. She got her petty and all of that. I may see 1 out of 100.
Really?
Yes.
You're insulated. You're insulated.
I'm yes, but I was in Miami
in South Florida.
and I saw 1 out of 100.
That's not true. That is
People are
absolutely
too
not true.
busy.
New York,
The
Florida,
people who
Cali.
are working
No,
for a
that's
living
not
are
true.
too busy.
I went to a women's business breakfast Saturday morning here in Rockdale County. Black women business owners. And all that stuff that you said is whatever, it's out there. The nails and the whole crap. They came in there competitive with each other. They came in there to outdo each other. Listen, I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. I know what I see. I know what is happening. And I'm still saying we might not have the chains anymore, but we have replaced it with other things.
They have substituted.
I really think that is I'm in the world too. And I was in
this
Miami,
one.
and
Mark, this one.
Point, sir.
I'm agreed with you. I am agreed with you. I am 100% on your side with this. With what you're saying.
I think we are falling for a stereotype that is presented to us, and that is not us.
But there are many who are living the stereotype on a daily basis in mass. We're not talking about a small sample. So I agree with Dr. Judith. It depends on where you are in this country. But I'm telling you where I am and my purview. Believe me, that is the focus of young women between, say, 18, maybe even drop it down to 16 to 30 something. Then they start to wait a minute. I've put tens of thousands of dollars into that nail salon. That person doesn't even know my name. No. The focus is really off in a lot of areas in this country.
Listen, the black women I sat with 3, they said they were proud to say they're West Indian heritage. And these are all, I sat there and I thought, what the heck am I doing here? And these are all, I have a business, so that's why I was invited. And one woman, she's a big shot in the government here. She said to me, when I met you, I told him to watch you because this is not an easy woman. I don't dress anything like those women. And I don't have a problem not dressing like them because it's not what I dress like, it's what I carry. It's what I have inside of me. And I watched them. 2 of them told me as the breakfast went on that they were nominees for Businesswoman of the Year or whatever. So I said, wow, I'm sitting with 2 nominees. Ain't that awesome? Because I don't take a lot of stuff, all this awards and stuff, I don't take a lot of that stuff seriously. So what ended up happening, one of them was called up and she received an award. The second one didn't receive an award. And after all the awards were given out, the second one who was still at the table, she raised her hand. I wouldn't have done that. She raised her hand and said, like you forgot me. And the lady who was doing the presentation says, no, she didn't even answer. She basically said, what people have to understand is that we nominated you, but not everybody who was nominated was chosen to get an award.
Chosen to win. Mm-hmm.
Okay? She was embarrassed now. Because if that had happened to me, I would never raise my hand. They talked to me for a while and they were like amused by me. Because I don't talk the crap they talk. we got to make a connection before we leave here. And connection crap. Another woman who graduated with me last week, she said to me, she agreed with me, she said, a lot of this is just empty talk. And we're going to, we want to talk and I want to get you involved with it. Just go away.
Let's know someone.
The truth of the matter is that what we have learned, we continue to learn all this, what do you call this, all these connections that white people, and all this
networking.
We're going to work in network and all this stuff. I'm not saying it's all for naught. I'm saying that a lot of it has become empty. It's just words that people use, and we ain't much better than the white folks talking foolishness. And we're playing, some of us out there playing games. I don't think everybody was meant to own a business. I don't think everybody, like Sam said, we have to find out what we bring. And we can't everybody can't own a business. What a lot of white folks do, and I saw it recently on television, in Massachusetts, a policeman, a police chief, he's raised his sons to follow in his footsteps, to be on the police force in Massachusetts. Another guy, white guy, he has mostly lawyers, including his daughters in the family. They're raised to follow in the footsteps of being lawyers. I have 4 people in my family who are in the law profession. So the thing is that everything cannot be race-based. I'm sorry. I think we have to be careful about it, because some of these things that we talk about is just human beings. White folks are stupid. Black folks are stupid. White folks are smart. Black folks are smart. The thing that I believe and will continually believe is that whatever we heard said about us is that we continue to some extent to carry that burden with us. We continue to believe that we are less, we behave less, and the first time we get some money, and I'm talking about people who have businesses, let me tell you who I admire. And it's not somebody I really admire in terms of basketball or whatever. I admire LeBron James. Why? LeBron James has taken some of the money he has made. He built an awesome school. I forget the state that it's in. He built an awesome school. It has white kids in there too.
I think it's Cleveland, right? Cleveland,
Ohio, yeah.
I'm not sure. But this school,
Ohio, yes.
Top notch. They wear uniforms. They're guaranteed to go on to college if that's their desire when they're finished. He's doing a whole lot of stuff. Not like, what's his name, which I've lost a lot of regard for recently, Shaq. You go out and go, he's in Georgia here someplace, or in Florida. I think he's here. Yeah. He's doing something down here too, in Monroe, Georgia. And he's running for some office, and he comes out and takes his picture. And I'm sick of it, because when you dole out things to people, that's not helping them. A business, something, a school, whatever. And that's why I admire LeBron James. That's what I would like to do if I had money. I'm not about doling out things to people. If you don't teach people how to change their mindsets, they will get the money, they'll get everything, and they'll screw it up the same way. And that goes for white and blacks. It's a human problem. It's a human condition. We have a particular problem because of racism, and because this can't be missed. And systemic racism is real. It exists. But I still say that if you're going to come at me, you better come ready. I mean this sincerely. You better come ready to kill me, because I'm not going to back down. But I don't back down from black folks either. And black folks mess with me also. So after a while, I really don't care.
So there we have it. There we have it. Economic, what was it? Economic, what did we say?
Stability.
Economic stability is also one of the things that we need as a community, we need as a people, that we need to keep our eyes on and continue building, so that we can lift not ourselves up as individuals, but lift up the entire race, lift up our entire people. One point I was holding on to, Mark, in terms of what has replaced the jewelry, I don't know how many of you all have heard this situation. Sam, you may know of a rapper called Lil Uzi Vert. This little knucklehead actually had a $24 million diamond pierced, encrusted in his forehead. I don't know, he was trying to imitate one of these Marvel characters, had a diamond about this big, encrusted in his forehead. And he went to some concert he had, and somebody snatched that thing out of his head and gone with it. So that is how ridiculous it has come. They replaced the gold chains, and this is how far they're going right now. that you decide to put a diamond in your forehead. $24 million. And in at the blink of a hold on, man. We don't go too much on the economic part, but I just want to bring that part in light of what you spoke about with the jewelry and it's being replaced by something else. So we've moved on from one level of stupidity to a higher, or if you want to say a lower level of stupidity, from one thing to the next, where we need to show it off. And if you pay attention now, there's a difference between Jay-Z from the 90s and Jay-Z from 2000 in the 2020s. When he had $100,000, he was laced in gold. Now he's sitting on a cool $1 billion. The only thing he has on is a wedding ring, nothing else. So somehow that whole flaunting of the jewelry is compensating to try and show the world that you have it, but technically they don't, because the richer we get, the less jewelry we tend to flaunt. So anyone you see flaunting that, it's a level of immaturity and stupidity as far as I'm concerned, those who do that. Karin, you had another point in terms of some of the other things that we need to go. Let's try and cover as many points as possible. What was the next? We have only discussed 2 thus far.
No, I feel very strongly that I think most parents want their children to have the same level of educational access. You know, we say we have access to, scholarships and all of that, but from the elementary school level through, high school, to have the same types of equipment available to them, the same computers, not something from 20 years ago when that's not quite cutting it.
So you're saying we're not learning on the same equipment in school right now?
They don't have access to the same equipment in a lot of schools throughout this country. And when you look at it, you'll see that it's based on, the population being, high percentage of blacks in certain schools. They're just not getting the equipment that they need to compete on the national level with other schools.
So
they're not getting the budget. The budget can't, somehow the budget doesn't extend to them to get the same types of equipment that the adjacent township can get. And they rationalize it all kinds of ways, but children need access to the same level.
In the school where I work, Karen, there's the majority of the staff is black. The principal is black. And I remember when I first went there, one of the most immaculate buildings, well kept, clean. He's very big on his reputation and all the rest of it. He's also trying to get to the head office in the county. That's where he's trying to get. Right now we have a county board that's almost all black. That's fine. Because I don't agree that everything has to be all black or all white. I don't believe in that. I don't think it's necessary. I think you need to find creative, bright people who can give and do a job. That's what I believe.
Agree.
But he's there. And when the first year I was there, I was so drawn. My heart was so, I get so emotional about these things. They were having the event where these high schoolers are now being told that they got a scholarship, football scholarship to a college or something. And so they had the ceremony. It was a big thing. And I saw him there and I was so moved by the whole thing. And I started talking to him. I said, this is really nice, Dr. Pugh, and da-da-da-da. And then I said to him, but I wish there was some program along the way where somebody would teach these young men that you're going to be making this kind of money. Let's have and I have a proposal to send to the guy here in Rockdale where I live, because I met the superintendent here. And I'm going to ask him, can I sell this program to him? I want to be able to go in and have, whether it's a 2-month class, course or whatever, where you teach them what one of the folks here said, Williams, I think Denise said it, teach them how to handle money, how to count, how to understand that you pay your taxes, because the more money black folks get, is the more the IRS going to come at you. They use this as target practice. The more money, the richer these black guys get, they go after them like crazy. Teach them how to be sound financially. Teach them to stop allowing the little white girls to come hanging on to them just as they're getting famous. There need to be something constructive taught to these kids. And it's, you know what he did with me? After I said that to him, he walked away. The man just literally walked away from me, because his focus is to keep up the 96% what you call it, graduation rate that we have. Even if you're sending damn fools out there. And one of the teachers spoke to me a couple of days ago. He said, Miss Barnes, you know what's happening? The parents are killing us to give them grades that they haven't earned. And the principal is killing us to make sure that they pass.
Because so they're not holding themselves accountable. Individuals aren't holding themselves accountable.
I just want to add a quick point to what Dr. Judith says. What you said there is a major need, not just in your area, but across the board.
Across the board.
And we all. I just want to add on that, and then I'll let you continue. We need to add how our kids should relate to each other.
Thank you.
How should the young men treat the women?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
or
sir.
The young women. How should the young women interact with the men or treat the men? That is something that's missing, and a lot of you're so right. A lot of the young men are getting opportunities and scholarships, and they're going to be getting into money. And I think they just passed a bill that the college levels now they're starting to pay.
Yeah.
The athletes on the college level now.
Yeah.
So they're going to be getting money a lot earlier than having to go into professionalism, into the professional league and all of that. So that's a very, very important piece of the puzzle that if we may have to look into if the schools don't want it, how can we present to our young people independent of?
I agree.
So that's a really, really serious a point there.
See, the thing is that it's from the Bible, and it says, "For lack of knowledge, the people perish." If we don't get information, first of all, Curtis said something related to this before. And it has to do with what I said about LeBron James. Unless we see each other as a community, unless we see each other as my brother's keeper, unless we see each other as that when I go up, I pull you up, unless we see each other that way, it doesn't matter. What happened to a lot of Black folks that I have read about and kept track of is they get the money, they get fame, and they start behaving differently. They don't necessarily want to pull anybody up. They get together and they yacht and they do yacht things and they do all these social things together. They're not necessarily concerned about bringing anybody up. And I don't think we should be waiting for them to bring us up. I think we have lost a big piece in the family, in the home, where certain things were taught. It's not being taught anymore. And we are too dependent on people doing this for us and doing that for us. We have to, in our generation, when we grew up, it came from our parents. Whether it's grandmother, grandfather, father, mother, whatever. We knew we had a responsibility to do certain things. Now we're waiting on everybody to give and everybody to teach. Somebody in the Black community dies and we have to have GoFundMe. It's in the White community too. But we don't even think about doing things to protect ourselves anymore. We're always waiting for somebody to come do something for us.
I want to address what Denise made several comments. The last one caught me, because a lot of people in the homes that you're seeing now, black, primarily Black run homes, they lack the knowledge level, or they're so busy working their butts off. They don't have time or energy to sit down and do the financial teaching that they learned. Some didn't learn and can't teach. So something else has to be available outside of the home. It doesn't have to be the school.
Right.
But something else has to be available to teach these children how to write a daggone checkbook before they get into college. How to do their own financial management.
The church should be doing that. The church.
So I can relate. I didn't learn.
Yeah, the church should be doing that. I have no pastor likes me. Okay, I don't care. They don't like me. Because that's the kind of stuff I say to them.
Why the pastor don't like you?
Say what?
Why the pastor don't like? We like you. I'm to the pastor. You have a problem with it?
Pastor smarter than you, man. Listen, the fact of the matter is, I said to them, why do you have a building shut up for 6 days a week? What are you doing? What is that for? If you notice, most of them have their names on it. I fight against those things. I tell them to their face. I don't care. It is not about you. If you're in the community, you're supposed to be making a difference. That's what you're there for. But guess what? Who's in the church? Who's the majority of people in the church that's bolstering the pastor and lifting them up, whether it's male or female pastor? Women. Tell them all this bull. The other day, a woman in Jersey told, a friend of mine in Jersey told me, some woman went to church and asked her pastor, "Pastor, did you have breakfast?" You know this? You know, she said the pastor told her. The pastor told the woman, "My wife took care of that. And if you're here and didn't feed your husband before you come, go home and feed him. Leave the service now and go feed him." The thing is that women have caused churches and pastors to be this great. A pastor going on vacation, we have to send him on a cruise. He can cruise down the street and leave and not paying for nothing for him. But the thing is that I am an oddity. I'm a problem to church people. But we have got the black people using religion. You talk about relationship, you talk about religion. They run around the church and they scream and holler like a bunch of fools. And the pastor said, "Well, you know, if you don't have the money to pay the tithe, you can use your credit card." Not Judith. Not Judith.
I have witnessed that one to the point when I first came to Florida. I went to a church and they were doing the same thing. They actually asked for tithes like 3 times before the service was over. That bowl came around.
That's offering.
3 times.
Offering. Once and offering 3 times.
There's a difference?
Yes, sir.
So you just decide to offer something for who?
Tithes is 10%. Offering can be anything.
Can be anything. So after I paid tithes and I offered, why the bowl coming back around?
Then forget you to give the first.
They forget and they pass back again with it.
Yeah.
And after that, they said income tax. Whoever didn't have cash at the point in time, they can come to the back where they're accepting credit cards and debit cards to give that offering. And they also made the announcement that income tax time was upon them, and they urging the church members to do their income taxes with the church. So on the spot, they didn't say this, but on the spot, they know exactly how much money you're getting from tax, and 10% of that comes out to the church.
Anybody who believes the church telling them about income tax, the church don't pay the tax. Let me tell you something.
Hold on. The church members can file the taxes to the church's accountant.
I understand, but guess what? If we would learn, if we would teach each other, I'm seen as a pariah. I'm seen as a problem in the church. Instead of listening to me, they want to defend the pastor. Do you know how many black people, and white people too, I'm sure, are tithing on their Social Security? Nonsense. You already paid tithes when you first earned that money. Why are you tithing until the second time? But you can't tell people, they don't want to hear it because, oh my God, what is wrong with her? When you first earned that money, you tithe on that. I said, no, you get your Social Security that was already tithe and you're going to tithe on it again? I don't tithe on my Social Security. I'm not crazy. But you see the man in Jamaica who slit the woman's throat the other day? Did you hear the news about it?
No, I heard about the one who planning for sacrifice.
Well, that's it. He slit the woman's throat.
The same guy who looked like the Hulk?
Same guy. And he had naked men and animals waiting to be sacrificed. And some people bolted and started, cops came in. That's how it ended.
It make we look foolful. It make we look totally foolful.
Stupid.
It's not a Jamaica. That's not Jamaicans that I know.
They said the guy
know Jamaicans to be blinded by faith.
Listen,
you can't call that faith.
Him have a line of men lay down with suits on and then take it and beat them bottom and after him slap them.
Judith, but you know, I posted that, I reposted that on Instagram and they shut it down and said it doesn't meet their community standards.
Well, it's all right, it's real, it's happening. You don't have to meet no
standards. Yeah, a bunch of people laying down in church with the behind cock up in the air and the pastor walking on with a belt and beating. I said, what kind of sodomistic nonsense is this in the church? And I reposted it, and my exact words were, I believe that came from somewhere in Africa. I said, had I been the president of that country, I would shut churches like that down. With these hypocritical pastors, I would put them out of business. And they shut down the post and told me it did not meet community standards.
There's an African president doing that
here.
right now. There's an African president doing that right now, shutting them down.
Let me kick a little history here. You know, we're looking at this from a very Caribbean standpoint, as we should. All right. But there's a history to all of this. Firstly, we were brought here for labor, free labor. Secondly, we were denied education because you can move up a ladder if you have understanding of things. We're still being denied education. We were denied a vote because now we get to choose.
Who represents us?
No one. This is the point. This is why these issues are so. And the same issues. You see, one of the things Dr. Judith said, I've heard everybody say it, we'll go out and act like buffoons. You know what? It was the only thing you could do, put on shoes that are too big, a raggedy hat, a thing, and dance for the white man.
When do we stop, Mark? When do we stop?
Let me finish. It can't stop because it's still the same thing. It can't stop. You're talking about, I heard you talk about black on black crime. If you can't find a job, what you gonna do? Stop?
Oh, come on, man. Oh, come on.
No, baby. This is the reality we live in.
Sorry. It's not.
All right, but hold on. Let me stop. Let us not keep discussing what's wrong, and let's talk about some of what we need to do. So, in the light of what you all discussing right now, let me hear some solutions, as opposed to just beating the problem over the head. Let me hear some solutions.
One of the things I wanted to address before we went down that road is we were talking about education, where all the children can get proper education and so on. Some of the things that have been happening has a psychological element to it. For example, when slavery was abolished, the average black person was not going to take a job anyway. Right? You was beating me to work. Why am I going to work right after? I need a break. If the opportunity was not there before for the kids to go to school, guess what? Everybody going to school, right? Some societies, or I should say some ethnicities, would look at the children at that tender age and realize, you know what, this one here look kind of bright. You going to school. This one here, you're kind of iffy. You go in and work in the field and make copra and all of that kind of stuff. Some ethnicities, so everybody will not go to school. Some people will stay home and work with the parents. Some people will go to school because they have the whatever you want to call it. What's the term they call it?
Intellect.
Initiative.
No, it's another word, but whatever that word. People in the chat might help us out. Right. So slavery and we are working. So indentured workers coming in, right? Education is offered, everybody going to school. But really and truly, everybody is not supposed to be going to school. So that is one of the psychological things that occurred with us as we go. So, but this is the other dynamic. We are in a cycle of, okay, we get a degree to get a job or to go and work for somebody who was a high school dropout and created a business. Now that don't make sense to me, but it makes sense to some people. This business was created by somebody who was a high school dropout. I went and got a degree in accounting or whatever it might be, research, whatever.
And now you're working for him.
And then now I am coming to work for somebody who is a high school dropout, who didn't build a business for somebody like me in the first place. So the objective is, if I am going to study and get a degree, it is to invest into me. Opposed to, all right, if I'm coming to work for this high school dropout over here, what makes this person who was a high school dropout more smarter than what I have to do? So we have all these little different pockets of things that send us in all these different directions. But I just wanted to bring that element that there's a psychological thing to it. There's a little post-traumatic stress going on in the underlying choices that are being made that's affecting us today. So I just wanted to bring that element.
But it also goes back, Sam, like you said earlier on, with that entrepreneurial spirit. And you've been doing that all your life. And guess what? While you were doing that, there were little eyes upon you, watching, learning, soaking in everything. And I can guarantee you right now, if you look at your two daughters as to the direction they are going in life, even though they may have gone out and seek that education, look at their drive, look at their spirit, and you will see a lot of who you are in them because they have learned that within the home. And a lot of times, many of the children don't have that example because it's about going to school, getting the education, going and getting that job, or within the nursing field, or becoming a lawyer, becoming a doctor. And a lot of times the parents push for this because they are living vicariously through the children. Mm-hmm. And they're pushing the children, they're pushing those careers onto the children. But what you are doing is not in vain. Trust me, it's not in vain. You will see it manifested in those children in one way or the other, in ventures that they may undertake. So that particular individual who had his errant ways and dropped out of school, if you look back at all of them, you look, Zuckerberg dropped out of school. He's a billionaire today. We have the other Bill Gates, he dropped out of school. Billionaire today. We go back in many different things, dropped out of school because they realized that the education route was not for them. They had the idea and education would have stifled them. So they had to leave that formal education and go out and do things on their own. Mr. Jackson, Curtis Jackson said it best, 50 Cent. He said, I didn't go to Harvard, but the people that worked for me did. Right? He grew up in the streets as a hustler, build a business, and get the people that went and get their education, get them to come and work for me and continue building it to another level. So it doesn't take that education to go out on your own and build something. So,
it's a thin line because remember now, a lot of us who had parents in the 60s and the 70s, unfortunately, they didn't have the choice that we have now. When they came here, they had to get 2 and 3 jobs because it was about survival. It was about laying down a foundation. So, it's sort of like you feel, it's a dozen on half a dozen on one hand, 6 in the other, because that was that time. And now they embed in you, look, you're going to be a doctor. You're going to be a nurse. You're going to be a lawyer. You're going to be, so they had to instill that. And it was part of, you're looking forward to this thing. But as we get here, the life has evolved. So now we left the industrial age where, you go and you get a job in a factory or you get a job in an industry. And now we're in the information age. So we have a little bit of catching up to do, So that remember we talk about walking with a boat because you're going to meet a lake. And after you cross the lake, you're supposed to leave the boat. Some of us pick up the boat and keep walking with the boat.
Walking with it, you have to leave that for the people behind.
Already, right? We crossed the lake already, and you're still walking with this boat thinking that you have another lake to cross. So when one, we have to catch and double time so we could everybody else miles ahead.
Couple things.
So
how do we catch up?
What I was going to say to you, one of the issues that I see in the school system, and it's been going on for many years now, everybody thinks they have to have a college degree. It's not true. Some people need to go to trade school. Some people are better off being plumbers. Plumbers make more money than a lot of very educated people. Some people need to be mechanics. They make excellent. Some mechanics make $23 an hour. That's not a bad salary. So the thing is, what has happened in this society, and it's amongst white people too, everybody has their own business. It's not true. It is not so. It is unhealthy. Because if everybody owns their own business, who's going to buy from
who's going to work? Yeah.
So the bottom line is that individuals have to be taught from the family. What is it that you like? Recognizing in your children what they're good at. Don't tell Sam to do what Junior did, because Sam might not be good at what Junior did. Recognizing in your children their gifts and their talents. I told my son he didn't have to go get a 4-year degree. He said, Mom, with all the degrees you have, I have to get something. That's his choice. If you have a skill, if you have a trade, we ought to be able to say to our children, listen, I noticed the other day when the chair was broken, how easily you fixed it. Recognize, see what you have in you. See what you have in your children, in your family, and then slowly push them towards it. We don't have, Karin said about time and people making money and they don't have time. The problem is that we don't have time because we're so damn socially conscious. And we have to go here and we have to go there and we have to be on social media while dinner is going on. And we're doing this while dinner is going on. We go out to dinner, we're doing that. And we're so consumed with social media. We're so consumed with cable TV that we can't pay it. We can't pay the cable bill. And we'd rather have a problem paying food, buying food, than not paying the cable bill. Our priorities are screwed. And that's for all races, because white folks do the same damn stupid things. I work with some of them. So what I'm saying to us is, stop blaming the past. I know some people right now who are hanging on to the past, and it's killing them. The past, to me, is a lesson how to live in the present and hopefully in the future. I look at the past so I can stop repeating the crap that I've done before. I know what white folks have done to us. I know what they have done to me as an individual. But they didn't get far with me because I'm crazy as a loon. I would not be pushed around. So what I'm saying is we have to have an individual responsibility. One of the biggest problems I see in this world, one of my co-workers said to me the other day, she said, from I met you, I have to tell you how I respect your willingness to stand for what you believe. People don't stand for nothing. Something come along, that look good. All right. I will switch back and forth. The bottom line is what happened to our parents and our grandparents happened. Where are we now? All this money these guys are making in football and basketball and baseball, all these black folks. We got to have somebody say to them, man, don't spend all at one place. Don't buy $10 million for that. Don't get a $40 million ring. We have, but it has to start early. And the problem is if we continue to blame white folks, yes, it's systemic and they're real and they're supposed to be blamed. But damn, when do we get out of our own way? When do we just stop saying, what is my priority with my life? And as I go up, who am I bringing up with me? And I cannot always own a business. But what I can do is I can work on a job and siphon some of that money off to something else, whether it's investments, whatever. That's how I live. That's how I live. So I am tired of blaming white folks because then it becomes a new kind of racism. I'm helping them being racist against me. The bottom line is that it happened. It's still happening, but until we, and I will say it until I die because I know it's true, until we accept that we have a level of self-hatred, until we accept that we are never enough. You look at these black women on these shows. I mean, what's Viola Davis? One of the most dark and beautiful women. She's getting light. And I wrote it the other day. She's on something. And I said, isn't it amazing Viola Davis is lightening up? Our priorities are screwed.
I didn't see any evidence of that. I know you mentioned that a couple of weeks ago, and I actually went and looked. I am not denying it. I'm just saying I have not seen any evidence of that.
Listen, that's just one little piece. What I'm saying to us four here at this moment is that the majority of Black folks, do they see this as a community? No, you know what a lot of them see it as? I'm getting out of this community. And their goal is to be like Bill Gates. Their goal is to have a yacht. Their goal is to have something for, and it's not necessarily the Black community.
But my goal, Judith, is to have an MBA.
Yeah, what does that stand for?
Massive banking account.
Okay. I hope you know to spend it.
Oh, trust me, I do.
Okay. Listen, trying to get Black people to tell them, and I probably said it to you before. Okay, let's do a Christmas club, they used to call it. Let's do a Christmas
Susu.
Whatever. If you
I'm throwing it to Sam, so you know.
Yeah,
Susu.
If you put $10 a week, by the time Christmas comes, it's $500. That you probably would never have saved on your own. And I keep talking to us as simple things. If you can't put aside $10, what are you when you're going to put aside $100? So the thing is that, like you say, what are the solutions? What do we have to offer? Start looking at our children. Start recognizing that all of them is not supposed to be college bound. All of them are not supposed to do the same thing. All of them don't have to own a business. When we start looking realistically at ourselves and our children and saying, you know, Sammy, I realized something. Sammy, I call him Sammy. Oh, Sam.
That's okay. That's what they say in the Caribbean. In the Caribbean, it's Sammy. Sammy!
The thing is that I know what Sammy is capable of. I guide Sammy in that vein. And that I keep telling people, you can have 10 children, but they're all different. You can't deal with them the same way. That's the miracle of being a mother and a father, is that you have to know how to deal with them separately. But we're sending our children out doing the same thing white folks doing, getting a degree. White folks are now screaming. They're now angry. How much money they spent on education, then they can't get a job. So what I'm saying to us, instead of, like you say, instead of beating the old stuff, what has happened has happened. What are we going to do about it? We're here. What are we going to do about it? First of all, you remember that the young parents are younger than they used to be. Grandparents are younger than they used to be. We have some grandparents who are 37 years old.
36, yeah, 36, 37.
Okay.
We have a 36 grandparent right now.
Okay. So the thing is that you're looking at children trying to raise children. And they out there, listen, they are watch women in their 40s trying to outdress women in the teens and late 20s. The whole idea about what you call mentoring, and the Bible talks about Ruth and Naomi. We ain't got no more Ruth anymore. You understand? No, sorry, Naomi. Everybody's a Ruth now. Everybody wants to be, and old women trying to outdo young women. We don't know our place. And let me tell you guys, I'm not no dictator, but I tell you this much I've learned in my life. One of the most powerful things I've learned and continue to learn is to know my place, to know my role. And until we know our role, not what the white people told us we are, I work in a place where white people are constantly amazed by me. And that's how it must stay. They must walk away and scratch their head and say, where she come from? That's what I believe. But Black folks, one of the things we do, I know a Jamaican right now, she light skin. You know what our goal is? To become a white person. You know who do I hear? A white woman. We have issues until we address them. You know what I'm responsible for? Doing my part. A little girl from the general ed population spoke to me the other day. She waved at me. Don't know her. And I work with special needs. That's where I work. And I'm walking back into the building after putting them on the bus one day. And this little girl said, hello. And I was like, I turned and looked at her and said, and I thought it was somebody behind me she was talking to. I said to her, do I know you? And she said, yes. You know what she said to me? She said, well, we don't really know each other. She said, but every once in a while we meet and we say hello. Let me tell you something. I got chills. She's from the general ed population. I don't have to have any contact with her. But I make sure I meet the eyes of as many young people as possible. And she, like several others, will come to me and say that I say hello to them. And so what I do, I said, tell me your name. tell me, how are your grades? I take time to interact with her because she's looking for something, obviously, or she wouldn't have said what she said to me. And I'm not giving the Judith version of how things are supposed to be done. I'm saying that all of us are capable of it. But it's like I'm spitting in my own face when I say these things. If I don't take the initiative with one person in my community, but I want to have an organization to help the world, I can't even help my neighbor next door, and I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about encouragement. How are you doing in school? Find somebody. I go to Walmart and I promote young Black people that I see working there. I contact their supervisors. Unless we take a personal, individual mandate to do things, it's not changing. And I'm sorry to say it. I'm sorry to say it over and over again, but that's what I've seen. And all this hype stuff that we're doing, the jewelry and the money, and much people in Atlanta own houses, some fabulous houses, and can't buy food. And them look just like me. We reach a basket too hard, no arm will rip out. And when it rip out, we say the white man caused it. Nah, we do it sometimes.
So Karen, just butter the bread with a couple more issues. We may not have time to go into them, but just butter the bread with a couple more issues. Some of the stuff that we're facing. And let me hear your take.
What kind of butter she using now? Margarine?
No, margarine is margarine. Margarine is not butter.
Real butter. Creamy butter.
Creamy butter. All right. Cream it down. Butter it up.
I know you're going to say that. Walk
butter the bread with boy, I tell you, Bridget. Like I tell you something.
I mean, later on smoothly. You didn't get the metaphor.
Listen. I just think that some of the other things that are important should be and are important to a lot of people of color in this country. Equal pay for equal work. I think too many of us accept just getting the job, lucky to get a job, and realize later on you and your white counterpart doing the same job description. The person is getting so much more hourly differential than you are, and you have the same level of education. You've got to fight for your right to get equal pay for the same amount of work.
So stop, Karen. Stop. And I'm cutting you purposely.
You cut everybody purposely.
No. I don't know if you realize up to now, we probably discussed about 5 things. Really and truly, we discussed about 5 issues. The aim was to discuss 10. Should we, and I'm asking for a unanimous vote on this, should we bring this topic back at a later date? Because there's so much more to be covered.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now we're talking about solutions. We're no longer beating the problem on the head. Stuff that we're confronting and stuff that we need to do as a collective. So I'm asking you on that point that you just made, which is we could talk about that for another 25 minutes based on what you just said. Should we bring a part 2 to this particular conversation? Karen?
I don't know. I'm not sure about that because we've gone very wide away from the topic. So I think that's a lot of.
Should we have a part 2 on this particular subject matter?
Who the question is for this time? Karen?
Judith agree.
I'll accept the
Let me hear you, Sam.
I think we could explore. I think we may need to structure it, do a little more research, but I think we can pull out some more.
So that's a yes.
Yeah, yes on my end. Yes on my end.
Okay.
I like the fact that you said fern leaf butter.
Yeah, fern leaf butter. I do believe there's a lot more butter that Karen could lay on the bread. I know that because if we were set to discuss 10 and she had 10 written down and we only discussed 4 thus far, that shows how much deeper we can go into the conversation, creating solutions and not just talking about the problem. So we ain't talking about where we went, I'm talking about where we need to go in the future. So I would do the third vote on that. So that's 1, 2, 3. Regardless of what you had to say, it's now moot. So I have voted that at a later date that we return with this subject matter, and you can lay out the rest of stuff, Karen. Butter the bread, butter it thick, butter it smooth, and hold on, let me finish the statement. Lay it on smooth, and the cantankerous one over there, she go stir up the water and muddy it up. But lay it on smooth what we need, and
so get out.
The troublemaker over there, so go make some noise. Trini Girl Fly said yes, we should come back. Denise Williams spoke about fern leaf butter. Yes, bring it on with that. People agreeing with you, Dr. Judith. Carol Knight say yes. And we did talk on some of the topics exactly. Not even, yes, Carol Knight, not every person who is scholarly educated has common sense. Go figure. Common sense is not very common. And not because you have that, all of them letters behind your name means that you're smart. It just means that you're educated in that particular arena. And a lot of people tend to get confused with that. Thank all of you all, Denise Williams, Carol Knight, Trini Girl Fly, Lucy O'Brien, Sherelle. I didn't even see. Wait a minute. Sherelle joined the chat. Sherelle Hope.
She snuck in. I never see her either.
Let me rephrase that. That's Sherelle Hope. No. That's Sherelle Moore. Sherelle Moore. I think she misspelled her name there. Sherelle Moore joined the conversation tonight.
Okay.
Carol Denise. Did we have anyone else in there? So I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining the conversation, and we urge you again, go on YouTube, join the channel, make sure you are subscribed. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you leave us a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Just say, hey guys, good show. Loved it. I don't like that guy's face. This fella screamed too much. Say something. Let me know how we do it. All of the people in the chat, your input is vital. Thank you so much for joining us. Anybody, closing comments? I ain't feeding you all anything tonight. No question. You all don't know I get beat over my head. Hold on, Sam. We bring it back around to you.
Oh, okay.
So I ain't feeding no question. You all do have the idea the kind of licks I get for that because I pose a question at the end of the show. So let me hear you, woman. What you have to say?
Me not take the relay there. No, I'm not take it so. No, sir. No, man. Do a proper intro to me. No, lad.
You see, she know who I'm talking about, right? So as we bring the show to a close, ladies and gentlemen, could we have some closing arguments from Miss Karin Forrester? Take us home, please.
Oh, that's so nice. When I thought about the topic, I went ahead and thought about how, as human beings in this country and really all over the world, but we're focusing on the US, we're still treated to a certain extent like chattel, like we're sort of enslaved to our workplace for that 25, 30, 40 years, if we're lucky enough to hold on to one thing for so long. I looked up the definition of slave versus chattel. And chattel is described as physical property, something that is movable, but so are we. So I didn't quite draw the distinction that the dictionary was trying to draw. I would love for us to be able to sort of walk our talk. We say the church walk their talk. I say it all the time anyway. Let me personalize it. We as individuals need to walk our talk. We're saying all of these things. We need to put it into action. And there are different ways. It's not one thing, one solution for one problem. We need to walk our talk and empower ourselves. We have to. Or as 15, 20 years later, our children, grandchildren, and so forth will be saying the same thing we're saying. What sense does that make? What difference did we make being on this plane if we can't make some changes to make their lives easier? I'm not chattel. I'm not enslaved to anything. And I would like that to be a part of the legacy I leave behind. That's it.
Dr. Judith.
I agree with what Karin Forrester said. And the only thing I would say, Karen, the only thing I would add to that is, well, I'm in agreement with her. I've had knee problems for a few years now, struggling with it, not sure what to do about it. A white woman that I work with despises me. But she told me some months ago that there's turmeric in the gummy bear form. And when you read it, the time release on it, I started taking this thing about 3 days later. Immense improvement. And I'm like, wow. You know what I did? First thing I did, I told a bunch of people who has knee problems about it. If we have information and we don't share it, it's dead. The problem for me all my life, I've gotten, shut up, you talk too much. You always have something to say. But if I see a need, I'm going to meet it. You don't have to like me. You don't have to like me. Because like that woman don't like me, she gave me the information. You know what I told her? I said, hey, thank you for the information because it's working. I don't care if she don't like me. I use what she gave me. And Desmond, my sister's husband, who's now deceased, he used to say about politics, he said, that's political sentimentality. Well, all of this is a bunch of sentiments. Yeah, they did this. Listen, I left work today because this white woman is harassing the crap out of me. And the stress has gotten so bad, it got me in that lower back. That's how much stress that I'm working under. Rather than box her in our face, I am, there's another staff member there. Other than the teacher, I'm the most highly paid person there. I'm not going to mess up my money messing with that woman because my money don't just go from, paycheck to paycheck. I'm saving some, I'm investing some. So I'm doing something with my money. I'm not going to let me get caught up in our stupidity and our racist behavior and let me lose my job. So it was best for me to come and I'm not going in tomorrow because I've got to take some action for people to understand I ain't playing. But I say all of that to say that unless we are willing to act on things, it makes no difference what we say. And that is my issue. That is the life that I live. I have a bunch of folks who don't like me. And I'm proud to say they don't like me for the right reasons. Because I make things happen. Somebody asked me today, have you gotten your 2022 calendar together yet? I already picked out 2 months, the painting that goes with it. I am going to continue to strive and thrive. I'm going to continue to do what I have to do, whether anybody comes along with me or not. And my thing is to live in such a way that my son will look at me and say, hey, I can do it. Or a nephew or a niece. And that's how I believe life should be. This constant and this denial of let me tell you what Karen said, chattel or slave. Our denial about our own part in this crap is what irritates me. We participate in it. And that's what ticks me off. We ought to stop giving white people all the striking information about what they did it. It's real. It's still happening. Yeah. But we have got to own our part in it. Because never forget, whether you're a slave or a chattel, you play a part in it. All of us. Every unhealthy relationship, every relationship that has problems, we all play a part in it. So for the white man to get off my back, maybe I need to realize my own value. And that's where I started out when I first started talking shit with you guys, and that's where I am tonight and I'll ever be. I know my worth. I know my value, and I'll forever be helping people, always. But we got to find out who we are. Not in terms of the white man says we are, but in terms of who we are. We got to search ourselves and find who we are. And that has always been my say, and I will say it forever. And nobody can harm me as much as I do. Nobody. I can undo myself daily by my thoughts. Our children ought to be taught differently. It's not the car, it's not the weave, it's not the Jordan sneakers. It's blaming Jordan for making all that money. You're the one behind it. So that's it. Does that make any sense, sir? All right. Whether it makes sense or not, I say it.
Mr. Archer.
Yeah, man. We had some. I think we're running for office somewhere, man. We had some really good, real good vibes going. So I want to encourage our viewing audience to share this episode and share and like and what else? Whatever good options are there, just do it. But yeah, you might want to see this. Now I just want to put this on the screen for 3 seconds, so folks can have it at their disposal. But sometimes they say we need to follow the money. So it's on the screen, and you can go to this part of the program and just freeze it there and just read it and see where this is Nielsen report of the black the black community.
The trail of the money trail.
The money, yes. It's interesting to see where we spend our monies based on the topic tonight. So and they can use that as ammunition for when we do the part 2 to the program. However, for something like this, I think that this was a good topic, by the way, and shout out to Mark for bringing the topic on board. He had to roll out, so I hope all is well there. Sending him positive vibes. I think that conversation is vital because it in our little way we will do our part. We may not see a big like a big truck, a big backhoe come and push all the stuff one time. But little by little, things it would erode. I like to look at like the Marleys, and although Bob saw a little glimpse of what was going to happen, if there's any truth to him looking down from glory somewhere, I'm sure he's be proud to see what the generations are doing of the Marleys. It is a very interesting, very, very interesting legacy that we're seeing before our eyes as they develop and build the Tough Gun brand, and it's something that's I'm really amazed to see it grow. And these are things that we need to cherish and pay attention to and understand. You mightn't get there the way you think you're gonna get there, but in the end, you get there, and that is just a very good vision for me of visual. So that's my 2 cents. I want to thank the folks in the chat. I think we had a lively chat tonight, a chat room, and I think we're onto something here with the Caribbean feedback. All right.
Yes, sir. Couple of the points we discussed, Karen, you talk about safety, traveling across the country, having that peace of mind that you won't be attacked somewhere along that journey. Mark brought up economic security. Let's focus on that also. We spoke about access to proper education and getting proper equipment and whatnot in schools. Simultaneously, we cannot wait on the powers that be and the system to provide certain things for us. If you can see it in your budget to drive a luxury car and have the best of clothes and the best of everything yourself, then you have to invest within your own children and find that proper equipment for them to use and not sit back and wait on the schools to provide it for us. We have to show some initiative and do some stuff for ourselves. We spoke about equal pay for equal work, honest days pay for honest days work. At times it doesn't happen outside on the workforce. That once again should encourage us to build our own. And it's okay to have the college education and working out there as part of the workforce, yes, but as I said before, having one source of income is too close to zero. So I urge everyone, once again, we noticed what happened recently with this whole pandemic situation where a lot of people had to dig into themselves and come up with business ideas. And a lot of people actually quit their jobs, didn't go back to work because they decided to work on their dream and manifest their own dream, and they got rich overnight. Something that they've been sitting on for years. So even though you're out there and you're still seeking, beating on the walls for that equal opportunity and equal pay for equal work, still try to build something something on your own. If you don't do it for you, encourage your own children. One child, your neighbor's child, to open up businesses for themselves. We see it in the white communities all the time where they open up that lemonade stand and teach that child how to handle money. We need to start doing stuff like this. Teach these children how to do stuff. Bake cookies. Sell them in the neighborhood. Sell them in the building you live. Sell them to family members. Let them understand commerce. The exchange of that dollar for goods and services. Encourage your children to see you in your work environment. They have it where they do it once a year. Take your daughter to work day, or take your son to work day. What does that do for me if I have 5 sons? Be a lot of kids running around the place.
Well,
so what I'm saying, don't wait for that day when they said it's okay. Find a way so that your children can see you in your work environment. And trust me, they will learn from that. As I said before, manifest your dreams. Don't sit back and wait for permission from anybody. Before you know it, that clock keeps ticking and ticking and ticking. And before you know it, years have gone by, a lifetime may have passed you by. And you're somewhere in your 40s, late 40s, talking about you want to be a rapper. Get out there and live your dream. Manifest your dream. Karin always say it. Do what you can. Finish it with me, Karin. Do what you can.
Where you are with what you have.
Where you are with what you have. Don't sit back and wait. Oh, I need more money. Oh, I need more time. Oh, I need the right equipment. Oh, I need more this. I need to be in the proper location. Stop all the crap. Right where you are with what you have. Do something. Do something. It is better to do something with flaws than to do nothing perfectly. Make mistakes, and that's part of the learning process. You gain some, and on others, I don't know which way it's showing up on the screen. You suffer, you take the L. I know that L doesn't stand for a loss. That L is for a lesson. So if you venture out on your own and you succeed in something, kudos. What if you didn't try? If you venture out on something and you fail, take the L. Take the lesson in what it is you did. So when you begin again, you're starting from a vantage point of knowing what it is you're doing, what it is you did wrong, and how you can improve. I belong to I'm part of an organization called Toastmasters. You all may have heard about it. Toastmasters is an organization that helps individuals to overcome their fear of public speaking. So many of us don't do things because we're afraid. We're afraid to venture out in front of people because I can't talk. I'm scared to talk to people. I'm scared to get out there. There are places where you can learn all of these things. If you don't know, Google it. Get out there, join an organization like Toastmasters, overcome the fear. Anything that you want to learn in this day and age, there's a free university that you can go. What is it called, Karen?
YouTube University.
The University of YouTube. Anything you want to do, it's on there. You want to learn how to rebuild an engine? Go to YouTube. You'll find it. So stop sitting around talking, I don't know how to do this, and I don't know how to do this, and I'm waiting for somebody to show me. And if I had help doing this, cut the crying crap. Use what you have.
Talking to me?
Everybody who listening to me. Use what you have at your disposal and do something, people. Do something. Do it with flaws until you're able to do it flawlessly. And stop sitting back and crying and whining and complaining about what the white man ain't doing for you and about what the job ain't doing for you and what this person not doing for you. Ain't nobody coming to help you.
That's a box.
Wake up and realize that, people. And also, religion have a lot of us paralyzed. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to get mine in the afterlife. I'm waiting on Jesus. Yeah. Get up off your backside and do something. Jesus ain't coming to save you. Jesus ain't coming to help you get a job. You're there every day. You're on your knees and you're praying and you're praying and you're praying and you won't get up and take action. Ain't no job falling through your ceiling and dropping in your lap. You want a job, you got to get out there and work the pavement. You got to get out there. You got to send out the resumes. You got to go online. You got to do whatever. Stop sitting back and crying and complaining about what the world not doing for you. Get up and do it for yourself. Get up and do something for yourself and stop crying and complaining and sitting back talking about, yeah, I'm praying for mine and I'm praying and it's coming, I'm praying. 100 years you're praying and sitting down there and waiting. Like Carol said, faith without works is dead. I spoke about in the beginning about us. Maybe Lucy, if you're there, let me know you're still around, because I don't know if you're aware of this. Lucy, if you're around still, just drop me a word. Let me know you're there. Someone that we both know. I just got a word from them tonight. This young man, one of the humblest persons that I know. I've known this brother for 40-something years.
Oh, yeah.
This brother was attacked by some young men, as he put it. And they bashed his head in with a pipe, knocked his teeth out, cracked his ribs. And then when you get to find out these brothers, these people who did this belong to the same faith as he did. What are we doing? We talking the talk, but we're not walking the walk. Stuff like that, you're not here. Are you familiar with the story, Lucy? Just hit me up. Let me know. From right in the village. Talk to me, Lucy. Let me know you're there. From right. Okay, you're here. The brother from right in your village. Let me know if you're familiar with it. I just don't want to throw it out there. The brother was attacked and beaten in the very village that he grew up. And this man is now on his way to becoming an elder. And he was attacked by some thugs who's of the same faith that he is. We talk in the talk and we don't walk the walk. That is not a religious thing to do. That is not very Islamic. That's not very Christian-like. So stop talking about religion. Stop talking about religion and who you're praising and who you're this, and you're destroying your own brother. Lucy, down in the river. David, Dangobin, attacked by some thugs and beaten. This kind of behavior got to stop. And I brought that up in the beginning, us talking about religion and going to church and praying, and the things that we do, they're not very godlike. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Lead and live by example, people. That's all I have to say.
Bless.
Peace and blessings.
Hi, I'm Dr. Judith Barnes. I'm an author, a playwright, poet. I'm also a broadcaster by training, and I recently found out about 2 years ago that I can paint paintings, which means I paint sceneries, I paint landscape, I paint animals. I have just discovered, and so that I can do this. And so, along with all the other gifts and talents that I've been blessed with, have paintings, and they are on view and for sale on Etsy and also on Facebook. And if you desire to order any painting or order one of my books, because I'm also an author, please give me a call at 470-564-8267. That's Dr. Judith, and the number again, whether you want to just talk to me or order one of my paintings or one of my books, please feel free to call 470-564-8267. Thank you.
Hello there and welcome. My name is Curtis Henry. Over the past few weeks, as we were putting the final pieces together to get the show on the road, some people asked, why do you need to showcase Caribbean people? Why Caribbean Chat? And I say, why not? Because we as Caribbean people have worked too hard, come too far, and suffered too long for us to continue taking a backseat. It's time for us to rise up, speak out, and show the world the value and the richness of our culture. So I'm providing a platform to showcase the history and culture of Caribbean people in entertainment, the arts, politics, sports, and economics. We will explore the many profound contributions they have made to society. So we invite you to stay with us as we launch what is to become one of the greatest voices of Caribbean people, for Caribbean people, by Caribbean people. On this platform, Caribbean people of excellence get to tell their story. Our aim is to ensure that your contributions are acknowledged and celebrated. Welcome to Caribbean Chat. So make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We are Caribbean Chat.